Hello, and welcome along to today's lunchtime stream. As normal on a... Hello, Kim. How are you? Good to have you yet again. I see Arthur's maybe in the chat room as well. Hello, Arthur. Right, so I had a plan for... Because we're just going to jump straight in. I had a plan on what I was going to do today, but I don't think it's going to work, and I'm hoping that Kim... I'm good, thanks. My plans have been scuppered a little bit. I had thought I was going to do the boring stuff today and kind of just get a few things out of the way and basically get things at a point that we can start doing some stuff. And I just thought I'll start reviewing these Dependabot PRs, get them merged and get them rebased. But I went ahead and did Dependabot rebase on this PR, thinking that it would trigger Dependabot to do its thing, which is to fetch the latest source from the upstream, rebase its PR, and be submitted. But it didn't work. And now I'm thinking that this is because we moved the repository from under my GEP13 own individual account into the Chocolatey community. So... And that, I think, is what might come down to. So, I'm going to need to do that. So, if I go up to github.com/Chocolatey community, now, in fact, I might just do this off screen, just in case that there is any sort of giving the game away. So let's go up here and do github.com/Chocolatey community. Hello, Arthur. So if I click on... I'm not signed in this one. Hold on. Let me get signed in to GitHub on this other screen. And then we can try and set up Dependabot so that it's actually working. You type the code in. Beautiful. So if I click on settings and I click on installed GitHub apps, easiest is to enable it from the Dependabot website. Okay, so let's go there then. So so you obviously can't see some of this because I don't want to give the game away. So I'm going to log in to Dependabot, and I'm already logged in with my GitHub account. So then we can see... How am I in that repository? Wow. So I'm logged into Dependabot, and I've got accounts for lots of organizations, but not one for Chocolatey community. So if I click on Add Account, and I go down to Chocolatey community, here we go, and I'm going to say only select repositories, and I'm going to say VS Code, because we want to keep that one up to date. We then want to do VS, because we want to keep that one up to date. And we also want to do language server, this one. So there's 3 of them. So I'm going to say install. What does that do? It says I haven't select repos to add. Okay, fine. Okay, so I don't think I'm giving the game away in this bit. So let's go back over here. So Dependabot. Sure, Google. Absolutely. I agree. Dependabot. Log in again. And then if I change this to be my community, Chocolatey community, and it says select repositories to add. So at this point, we want to add all of them. That's not a Ruby project. Chocolatey VS is a .NET project. Chocolatey VS Code is a JavaScript project. So we add 3 selected. So what now? Repo must contain a .cs. What now? Chocolatey community. I'm fairly sure it does contain one of those things. Chocolatey community. Oh no, hold on. Have I done that wrong? No. Chocolatey language server. Here. What's it got in it then? Develop. It has source, solution. So how do I specify a custom path then? Is that in here? Here we go. So let's say source then. Add selected. There we go. Okay. So now, having done that, if I go back to this PR, do we think we can do this again then? Can I do... I don't think I copied that with the right copy command. So let's do copy, paste. What does it do if I do that then? Ah, this is better. So now I've got a thumbs up. Hello, Brett. How are we doing? Good afternoon and happy Friday. Indeed, to you too, sir. We are currently fixing Dependabot. Dependabot is broken on a repository that we were working on. So we're working on the Chocolatey VS Code extension, and one of the first we started working on this on Friday. We started working on this on Monday, and the first thing we did was we moved it out of my own Get13 GitHub account into the Chocolatey community organization on GitHub, because I've pretty much come to a internal discussion with myself that I no longer want to have anything that is community owned, community driven under my own GitHub repository. So the proverbial example that I use is if I get run over by a bus, I don't want people to not be able to continue with that code. So I moved Chocolatey VS Code, Chocolatey VS, and the Chocolatey language server projects into the Chocolatey community organization. And if I haven't done so already, I meant to give Kim, as a first person, full access to all of those organizations, but I don't think I did that yet. So while we're waiting for Dependabot, let's create a new team, shall we? And we will say Chocolatey extensions. Create a team. And a member. I'm going to keep me as a member. And let's find Kim. So again, I'm working on another screen just so that I can do this in secret and not have to worry about leaking anything important. Admiring worm. It's not there. So let's do admiring worm. There it is. So click on that, and I'm going to say invite. And then we'll do Maurice as well because he has been very active on this as well. So let's do that invite. There we go. And what's this saying? Is it finish rebasing? It's just force push, so good. So now the PRs, now the CI build's running. So if we click on this and go up here, then our CI build is running, or it's a way to run. Oh, it bumped a few things. So which one were we? We were looking at the Mocha one, which is that one. So it's a way to run. So I've done that, and if I go back to the I'm going to go back to my repository, and I'm going to go to this one, and this one. And I'm going to go to settings on each of those. And we'll go to collaborators and teams. And we'll make that one. And we will say Chocolatey extensions. And we'll make that one admin. add Stevie into the team too, because he's also been doing some work on it. So back up to here, and I'll come back to Kim's comment in a minute. Oh, I see why it's being blocked. Because right at this time, the Chocolatey core team packages is doing its thing, which is under the same Appware project. So we'll have to wait for that build to finish before we can see the next ones. How long does this build normally take? It's not long. 5 minutes, so it's not too bad. We've got another couple of minutes, so I'll finish what I'm doing over here, which is to add a member, and we will add in Stephen, Val, Dinger. There we go, Stephen Coaster. Invite. Once it took 21 minutes. Well, let's hope it's not. Let's hope it's not this one. So I'm going to remove some external collaborators from this repository, and then we shall hopefully be set up. So you should now have access, Kim, to the Chocolatey VS Code repository. Oh no, that's not the button I wanted. Click back. So I'm going to say owners here as from admin, and then extensions from admin. Okay, and then the final one is the Chocolatey VS. Add that guy, and then this one, and then I'll remove myself. There we go. Okay, so we're up and running. So how far is this PR going through? Or not the PR, the saving history. Okay, so that looks good. Looks like we're almost there. So yeah, like, as I said right at the start, the intention was to work through some of these Dependabot PRs and get the Chocolatey VS Code source code up to a point that it's all happy. But in trying to do that, I found out that Dependabot was broken because we'd moved the repository. Now, Kim made a comment which was, I can do a Dependabot merge. Dependabot merge will merge this PR after your CI passes. Okay, so maybe let's try that then. So let's do a copy here, and let's paste this in, and let's see what Dependabot does with that after the PRs run. So that one's finished. So if we go back up to Chocolatey Language Server, we've added Dependabot onto Chocolatey Language Server, so it's got a couple of things that it's building first. So maybe we should look at that while we're at it. So back up here, and we shall say this one. So what's it doing for us? Oh, it's raised 5 PRs. Oh my goodness. Interesting. So which one's it building just now? And has it got a PR open for all of them? Oh, it does. Okay, so let's start with GUI Labs, which is this one. Let's see what it's done for us. It has bumped a package reference from 1.2.35 to 1.2.36. That's a point release. So I would be reasonably happy that that is good to go. If Kim, that's what I was waiting to do. So Kim's literally come in here and said, looks good to me, which is what I was going to do. And then to say, Dependabot merge. So now, so I'm curious to see what he's done on the next one. So this was given. My question here though, Kim, was my slight OCD I say slight, and what I mean by that is, well, actually, it's severe. Once that first PR is merged, I would then ideally want to rebase the subsequent ones. So we get these little, I call them these little nobules of history, rather than a Guitar Hero string of multiple interconnecting lines. So I'm not saying that you have to do that, which is why I will set up a protected. So how does that help? So that helps so that it has to be rebased. Oh, okay. So hold on. So hold on. So let's slow down a little bit. So you're saying that in our branches, I think I see what you're saying. So we don't have any branch protection rules just now. But if we add a rule onto, so what rules have we got? Require pull request reviews before merging. Require. Which one would give us what we want though then? Oh, require linear history. Prevent merge commits from being pushed to match this one. Is this the one that you're referring to? I like the sound of that. Let's just see if that's what he's talking. I'll let you do this. I'm just bringing it up on the screen. Oh no, it's not that one. I mean, if you want to do it, I mean, I'll bring it up on the screen once it's there. But I see that one's already gone in. Dun, dun, dun. So what's require status checks? I'm confused. How does that help? Require status checks. Choose which status checks must pass before branches can be merged into a branch that matches this rule. When enabled, commits must first be pushed to another branch, then merge or push directly to the branch that matches this rule. If you check the new... Well, hold on. So... Dun, dun. So if I refresh this, here we go. So if we click on edit, require pull request reviews before merging. Require, oh, I see. So if you click on it, it then gives you this one. I see. Require branches to be up to date before merging. Love it. So I could do the same thing then on this one, unless you've already done it. So see, this is why I stream, because I find out so many things that I'd either assumed or just quite simply didn't know. And this is why I love streaming. Okay, so branches. Oh, so there were branches. So you, let's see what's already in these ones then. So require pull request review. So let's be consistent. So require pull request reviews before merging. I think that's a good idea. So we'll add that one in. And then we've said one review. Beautiful. Then we've got require status checks to pass, require status checks, and require branches to be up to date before then. And then we've then ticked the appver PR rule, which is this one. Beautiful. And then what other rules did we put in? None. Okay, good. So I'm going to say save changes to that. And if we go back to branches, there was one in master. So let's have a look to see what's in here. We'll do the same. So we'll say that one, and we'll say that require status checks, the same one, if there are any PRs into master. And we'll say save changes. Okay, so with that done then, based on what... Oh, wow. We've just had I'm being told that 19 raiders from Codephobia have joined. Hello, Codephobia. Welcome along to my stream. Pleasure to have you. We are currently working on an open source project for Visual Studio Code extension, specifically to enable chocolatey features within VS Code. And we're currently being educated by Admiring Worm in the chat room, also known as Kim, on how to set up Dependabot properly. Because he knows more about Dependabot than I do. So looking at the PRs that are currently in here then, Kim, so this one failed. So what's happening here then? So you said looks good to me. You said that Dependabot merge. One of your CI runs failed on this pull request, so Dependabot won't merge it. Fine. The restore failed. So so if we look at the actual history here, interesting. So that's that's probably a version mismatch. So we've updated one, but there must be a dependency. I thought Dependabot handled things like that, but let's go back to here and see where we're at though. So we've got a shit ton of these now. Excuse my French, sorry. Are these all still in language server? They are. They must be merged in the correct order for cases. Yes, that's what I was getting at. But what you've done, so just correct me if I'm wrong. What you've done is, or what your process would be to go through and say looks good to me on each of those, and then do a Dependabot merge comment on each of those. And because of the branch rules that we put in play, Dependabot is forced to always do an update. Is that correct? Or have I got that wrong? Interesting. Okay. So we've got quite a few active builds just now, which is going to make working on the VS Code one a little bit more difficult. But that's fine, I guess. Because there's those ones, and then if we go over to the language server ones, which is this one, and we look at history. So there's quite a bit of churn going on just now. And that's the one that we've, because then it's building the develop branch as well in between. So okay. But let's have a review. Let's have a review through some of these, and then we can start do that. So it comes in my own repo. Though I have told Dependabot to treat approved reviews as a request to merge. Oh well, how does one do that? Is that in the Dependabot configuration, or how does one? So that means I wouldn't have to do Dependabot merge comment. It would just be, if it's approved, it'll automatically do it. How does one do that? Because that seems like an interesting tidbit. Must be configured at the org level. Okay, I think I'm okay with that though. Because at the minute in this organization, Dependabot is only triggering on the 3 repositories that we haven't enabled it on. So is that within Dependabot configuration? If so, we can go and have a look at it. Settings. You sent your link on Gitter. Oh, hold on. Not in Gitter just now. Give me a sec. Over here. Yeah, so I think that's where I was ending up. That's where I was ending up. Okay, so look at that. Treat PR approval as a request to merge. I think I like that. So I'm going to click that button, and then what's the other one? Allow auto merging to be enabled on projects. What does that mean? allow auto merging to be enabled. Oh, I know what that is. No, don't want that. That one I draw the line on. I typically also uncheck the create merge commit. Create a merge commit if a PR is merged or by Dependabot. So you're encroaching on my OCD again there, Kim. No. Personally, I want the merge commit. Because then again... See, you don't... See, I do. So I do, and I can show an example of... Or let's see what the current history of... So let's have a look over here. Let's bring up GitHub, organizations, cake, and then cake. So if we go in here with... Hello, Maurice. How's it going? So if I bring up Git extensions and I show the history of this cake repository, we'll do that later. Then typically what you end up with are these. I refer to these as nobules, and I haven't come across a better word for it. Little dimples in the road, whatever you want to call it. But you end up with these little, very clear indications in the commit history about what went on and why. If you just have a straight line, then with a fast forward merge, then it's not kind of immediately obvious where things have come from. So because this was a divergence in the DAG, essentially the directed acyclical graph that is the commit history, you kind of know where it came from. And then because of the additional information that you get, then you have the context of where those changes come from. So I completely understand that it's a religious debate almost in terms of how you want your Git history to look. Personally, I like this. So I'm not going to take that option off. I'm going to say create that merge commit so that is that history there, so the divergence, and then it comes back in. But I do like the idea of treating the approval as a request to merge. So that's good. And I'm glad to hear that you're fine, Maurice. So where do we get to with this? So this is used. So now, based on the change that we've just made, Kim, you won't need to add that one anymore, because the fact that you have approved it means that Dependabot should start doing its thing, correct? In which case, we should start seeing more PRs coming in, because Dependabot will start going nuts. But let's start going through them. So this one for me is Lodash. This is a security bump, which, so that's the other thing I need to go back and do. So let me do one more thing. So now I know to an extent, I think that's Maurice telling me that he's been signed up to the team that I just added him to. Hold on. Did we not merge one of those? Good stuff. I'm a little bit confused. So what's going on with this one? Is it saying it's no longer valid? And it closed it? Superseded by 317. That's fine. But I thought we merged one. Or was it the language server that we merged? I think it was the language server one. I'm getting myself confused. No, we did. So we did the Mocha one. Okay. So we did pump Mocha. It was this one then, was it? This one. Because what I forgot to do, and I know to an extent that, so I might have to switch to that now as well. So Dependabot can handle adding Dependabot can handle adding labels as well as milestones to PRs. So we should definitely look into doing more of that. Visual Studio Marketplace. I'll come back to that comment in a second, Kim, while I think about one thing. So this is the Chocolatey extension for Visual Studio Code, and it is 071. So why is that milestone open? I'm going to go and close that just now. So the 071 milestone is open, but it should be closed, I think. So we'll close that milestone, and I'll just sanity check that there was a release, and there was. Interesting. Okay. So we close that, and then I want to assign this to the 080 milestone, because that's where it was released on, or where it's going to be released on. So the same is true of this one. So this one, we'll remove the Dependabot label, and we'll leave the security one on, and we'll add this to here. And then we'll look at file changed. And this is in the lock.json. So this is not a direct, this is a transitive dependency. So it's not a direct one, but there is a suggestion that we bump to the higher level of Lodash, which I think makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to come back to Kim's comment, which is the language server dependency has a breaking change. What does that mean, Kim? What are we looking at? Which one specifically? As in one of the PRs? Or Camarisa saying you can set Dependabot to auto-merge. That's actually what we've just done. I didn't know about that, but Kim pointed it out, and we have just literally done that just about 10-15 minutes ago. We added that option so that on approval it will merge it automatically. So this one here, you're saying, so that's a source code change. So by bumping to, oh, interesting. That's a little bit of a shame, but I guess it's pre the 1.0 release, so they are allowed to. So something in our code needs to change before this will be able to be pulled in, is what we're saying. Okay, fine. So we can come back to that one. So let me just finish going through this process, which is to bump. I'm going to go look. I'm going to review these PRs, and I'm going to approve them if I think they're okay, and then we will maybe take a look at that issue. So we're saying looks good to me with this one, and if they're not Kim, then I am in a Slack channel specifically for the LSP implementation. I don't know if you're in that one or not. If not, we should maybe get you in there. I'm on a Slack channel with David Driscoll, Tinboy, Tyler, a couple other folks that are working on the language server implementation. So we can always reach out to them directly if we aren't able to figure out what's going on. So let's have a look at these. So that's just a change to there. So we can say on as well. We might need to get Maurice in there too. I can't see any reason why you wouldn't be allowed to go into that channel. Beautiful. Okay, so we're working our way through these PRs. And then we shall... Maurice, did you see the note from Kim about moving one of these PRs to the other repository? Because it'll no longer be in this one. And okay, that's fine. That's not a problem. So the question from Kim there is, should we have Dependabot auto-mark the PRs with labels and milestones? Yes, I think we do. Now that we have this magic that is now that we have the magic where it will automatically rebase every PR when there's a change in the history, we have the auto merging when we have done an approval, then yes. The process that I used to go through when I was doing this manually was the fact that it still had a Dependabot label on it meant that I was like, okay, I need to look at this. And because I was going through it manually, I was literally ensuring that the milestone was set appropriately. So no, absolutely. But okay, hold on. This was a security one as well. So that'll just be transitive dependency. So that one's good as well. So what did you just do on the language server? So let's bring that one up. So was that something in Dependabot settings that you did? And if so, let's go and have a look at what you did. Oh no, hold on. Copy link to clipboard, paste it into here. No, through a comment. Okay, so what you're telling Dependabot there is use this milestone. So you manually set the milestone, and then you said to Dependabot, use this milestone, meaning for the future ones. And then, okay, I'll use, from now on, I'll use 1.0. Interesting. Okay, good. So improvement. Why? Interesting. I typically, for Dependabot PRs, I typically say it's a build label, but you went for improvement. So let's have a chat about that. Improvement being that we're improving the code base by updating to the latest version, because these are not just build related. But it does mean that each of these, so the benefit, I guess, of it doesn't, they wouldn't all go into the release notes. It's both, in my honest opinion. These are the dependencies used during runtime. But if we got a bump to, I'll try to think of an example. If we had a bump to cake, as an example, if we were using, I'm trying to think how we'd actually, so let's say we bumped cake. So that, in your eyes, wouldn't be an improvement. That would be a build-related change, because that's specifically for the build and not used at runtime. Whereas this, right, I see what you're saying. So by setting it as improvement, you're assuming that most of the PRs coming in would be improvements because they are runtime dependencies. And then you would override that during the review process to change it to build if it was a build specific one. Is that right? Is that what we're saying? Interesting. Okay. So let's, using that thought process, so let's grab this. Keep doing the wrong copy. So I'm going to copy this back to this PR. So I'd set this one. This is a security one. So this is a bad one to do it on. So I set security. I said looks good to me. So that one can close. So TSLint is, that for me is a build time dependency because we're not shipping TSLint. But TSLint would be used at compilation time to ensure that the TypeScript that we're writing adheres to the standards. And Kim's saying, when a unit testing library is set, if the dependencies are likely to be updated more often, then I would default to no build instead. When a unit testing library is set, and if the dependencies are likely to updated more often, build. I would. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, gotcha. Okay, but for this one, so I'm going to start out with build, I think, because a lot of the transitive one, we don't actually take a lot of dependencies on anything that we ship in this project. A lot of this is, so let's just go through them. So that's a TSLint is, see, that one would be we ship that. Node fetch, that's a type, so that's a build time. Mocha is a testing library, that's build time. TypeScript itself is build. VS Code, JSON, RPC, that would be, we would ship that. That's a runtime, design time. OmniSharp extensions, language server. Oh, we don't need that one. That one goes away because that one's closed because that's not in here anymore. Serilog, that's another project. So I think I'm going to default to build for my things. So I'm going to say build, remove dependabot, and I'm going to set the milestone to be this. And what I had in my clipboard was dependabot use this milestone, which is 080, and dependabot use these labels, which are build, typically. So I'm going to say comment, and dependabot's going to be the update setup that created this pull request has been deleted, so changing its settings won't have any effect. Please comment on a PR where the update config is still active. Not really sure what that means. But let's maybe try it on one of the newer ones then. So let's say build dependencies and milestone. And let's put it into this one instead, comment. Okay, there we go. Beautiful. I think it is, because if you notice, the pull request started having dependencies rather than dependabot. So these two are new ones, whereas these ones are old ones. But that's fine. We can work through the old ones. And did I approve this one? No, not yet. So we were bumping this to there. So I'm going to say approve, and looks good to me. And then we will close that one out. This is a security related one, so we'll leave the security one on and we'll assign it to the 080 milestone. Then we'll take a look. So this is probably going to be a transitive dependency directly in the lock.json, which it is. So we're bumping that. So we'll say approve to this one too. I feel that AppFair is going to be going mental at us, but that's fine. Files changed that's a minor bump. So let's go ahead and say it's good to me. So the fact that we added the status checks in mean that it won't merge if it's a broken, if it's broken the build, but I love it. I think this is going to be really useful going forward. So love it. Okay. So now dependabot's rebasing this one because it's found out that things are out of date. It's amazing. This is a major bump. Even if it tried, GitHub would prevent it too. Yes, true. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because we put the protection on the branch. So it's good to me. Yep. So that's what I'm doing here. So it's rebasing it and it's going to magically pull it in, which is just amazing. Milestone, that one. There we go. Dependabot will merge this PR once it's up to date and CI passes on it. Look at that. Genius. TypeScript, we're bumping. This one could be a breaking change. Maybe not. depending on there's things in TypeScript that are now seen as better practices. TS-lint might kick in and say that we need to do things there, but that's fine. So this one, do this, and then let's change this to be this one. And then I'm going to have to make these dependable changes on a few other repositories as well, because it's genius. So all my other VS Code extensions that are in my GEP13 OSS organization, I need to enable this on some of those too. What we're saying here, as Maurice, the only exception is if we had enabled dismissing stale reviews. I feel every minor release of TypeScript contains some kind of breaking change. I agree, and that's why I was hedging my bets between the minor causing problems and not, but I suspect that there will be something. So I'm going to take dependencies off, because potential. So that is we still need to go back and circle around on that, Kim, about Git Release Manager ignoring a label that it's meant to be including. I haven't gone back and tested that out yet. That's a job for a different day as well. I'm going to say that's good. Approve and submit. So then if we get through this, it's maybe worth quickly looking at the so that one's done. Did we assign a? No, we didn't yet. We'll maybe quickly look at the breaking change in the language server to see what sort of code changes are required there. So that's that one. And like I say, I think this one isn't needed anymore. So the files that have changed, that file shouldn't be there anymore, should it? So merging is blocked. How has it even been able to? Oh no, I want the language server one. Sorry, I'm confused. That's into the other project. So that one, was that one of the ones that you're looking at, Kim? Approved, review required. Oh, so that's the breaking one. So that's the one we need to take a look at. So if I caught up a little bit slow sometimes, but I get there in the end sometimes. So we had 13 PRs over here. It's coming down. So we've got some builds, we've got some security. That was one that's not a dependable. Those are two that are not dependable ones. And the other ones are there. So let's have a quick look over at there just to see what's going on. And there is, I'm going to imagine there's a little bit of churn going on just now as it works through all of these PRs, rebasing them, merging them if they're ready, etc., etc. So let's have a little sneaky peek at this one. Oh, okay, it's a good idea. So this one. So we think over here, Kim's saying, if you check the release notes, I believe the breaking change was in version 14. Oh, it's that man, Martin, look. So what's he done? Here we go. Please note there's a breaking change with regards to configuring logging. You should now use the configure logging action of iLogging Builder extension on language server options to configure logging. Language server logging can be configured using the add language server extension method. For example, I can expand the release notes in the PR. Oh, so I can. Look at that. I did actually know about that one. See, that's just genius as well. Okay, so that suggests that we have a specific breaking. So how would one handle this then, Kim? Would we? Because can we push changes back? Does depend about add more commits? So we could check out this branch and fix it, push it back, and then it'll flow through into the PR. So we'll maybe do that. So let's do this. Let's open link. But dependable won't merge automatically. That's still okay though, I think. That's still okay. So let's walk up to this. Where are we now? We're in the Chocolatey community. And then in here, we are in Chocolatey language server. So let's do a git fetch upstream, which is my upstream repository, the original upstream repository. And the one that we are interested in then is this one. So if we do a git switch to that one, then if we run our build local, it will fail. So as a sanity check, let's do that. This is Figlet having a fit because the name that we're asking Figlet to write out is too long and it gets itself confused. Okay, so it failed almost straight away, so that's a good sign. So now let's open it up in Visual Studio. We have 9 minutes left. My window is too small. Which window? This window? What did I say? Oh, I see. Sorry. Sorry, that sailed straight over my head, buddies. I'm sorry. I wasn't ready for the humor. Chocolatey language server. This one. It would have to be a very big PowerShell window to allow Figlet to write out Chocolatey language server. So more pixels required. More pixels required. Let's do a build in Visual Studio as well and see the errors. Rebuild all. Where's my error window? Tools, Windows, view errors. There we go. 25 of them. The type or namespace embedded. What have they broken? Oh, excuse me. That wasn't pleasant. No. We were doing some things. I'm going to have to put my mind back. I'm going to try very hard not to, Maurice. We were doing some things to enable knowing in our language server implementation when a configuration option changed. Now, the fact that this interface is now no longer there makes me wonder whether it's been pulled in proper. Is that the specific one? Configuration. No. Or has it moved? Where was this being used? Okay, so that part is valid. No, it's not. Where has the OmniSharp extensions embedded gone? And also, they no longer embed Mediator. Was that mentioned? Oh. Do not embed Mediator. I see that. Mediator is strong name signed nowadays. No need to embed the strong name signed anymore. So it's Tyler's fault. No, maybe not. Yes, it would require a small change on my part, but thanks for the heads up. Totally breaking, but totally needed. Let me know when I should expect stuff to start breaking. So, Mediator. So do we just need a... But do we have a dependency on Mediator? No, so we would need to add one. So do we need to... Powered by Beard. When the hell did Mediator make it into OmniSharp? Well, based on the issue that we were just reading, they were embedding it because they had a dependency on it, but because they require the OmniSharp DLLs to be strong name signed, they were kind of cheating a little bit by putting the Mediator assembly into there rather than relying on strong naming it themselves. So sorry, Kim. Possibly just note what the language server do. How does that help though? If we don't have a reference to it, we'll still need to add a package reference to it, correct? Or are you saying that this one, I think what you're saying, does it have a dependency? So let's have a little further look down. So language server protocol. So I see what you're saying. So if we just change this to be that, then things start working maybes. So let's go over here and say it's not doing that anymore. And then my OCD is going to kick in because we need to put this... Oh no, my OCD never kicked in. But OCD is completely out the window. I've seen it now. I'm going to have to change it. That feels a bit better. And then, oh, hold on. It's saying that we don't need this one. So let's take that out. And then let's take out some of these. Let's take out some of these. And then I'm getting there. My ability to comprehend the alphabet is slowly coming back. And then, well, we normally have those at the top. So let's put system first and then everything else. I used to use that all the time. Literally all the time. And then I stopped using it because this is directly my open source stuff. So I don't have a ReSharper license installed on here. So I may go back to using CodeMade. That's a good idea, actually. Anyway, so where do we get to? We've got 2 minutes left. Oh, we're getting 10, look. So this is another embedded one. So this will be Mediator. Let's remove some of these ones that we don't need again. Diagnostic severity. Okay. System, Chocolatey. Oh, looks good to me. Let's do another build. Code action handler. What's that say? Code action handler does not implement interface. So we're missing something. So there's maybe been something added on. What do we need? What's this? Registration, get registrations. What's this not doing? Request handler. Handle. Is it the don't like that either. Get registration options. Handle. The contract with the updated interface and the old one differs. So we had. Let's bring that up. So I'll look at it. That's one of the contained ones. It's a little. So what it wants to do, code action registration options, registration. So it's this that's changed. Yes, I was just getting there. So it's not a text document registration options, it's a code action. I guess that makes sense. Code action registration options. Is it going to be as simple as that? Oh, look at that. Okay. And then we get to the one that Martin actually told us about, which was that this is all different now. So I'm literally out of time, but if we go back to our releases, then there was mention of configure logging. Is this what we need? Is it as simple as that? Look at that. Build failed. I'm just removing stuff now. That doesn't really work, does it? Build succeeded. What did I actually delete there? What did I actually delete? So in my program.cs, let's have a quick look at it, and then I'll need to go and sign off. That was what was going through my head, which is why I wanted to go back in. So we deleted. I said add default logging provider and with minimal log level. There's a set minimum level. Is there anything in here? there's a min level parameter as well. So in theory, we could, with minimum level log.trace, so we could say min level log level dot trace. Or, as you said, there would be a set minimal level. Oh, not there. So both should work, I would imagine, and this would just take a log level dot trace as well. So we can either do it in the constructor, or there's a Fluent API that allows us to do it. I'm genuinely not fussed, I don't think. I think I've lost a closing parentheses. Let's stick with the Fluent style that is on there. Okay. What if I do a format there? Okay, so we have a working build. No idea if it works. That will be the next installment of our stream here, because for now I need to sign off. So I think what we will do is let's actually just do it here. Build, change implementation based on upstream changes. And then if we go and grab this URL, then we can take that and as noted here, and then change code. What are you saying there? Sorry. I am working on some change myself, so could be useful to use that branch as base. I was planning on just pushing to the existing branch that's there, not as a PR into that branch. Would you prefer that I do it as a PR? Because I'm literally just wanting to sign off just now. So bottom line is I wanted to get this off of my machine. So I was going to do this to here. And then that should flow through into the PR that is up on this one. So if we refresh this, the push, why did the push fail? Updates were rejected because the remote contains work. Oh, for goodness sake. Get fetch upstream. Get rebase upstream. That one. Get push upstream. Dependabot rebased it. There we go. Let's see what it'll do with that then. So we refresh this again. Now hopefully we should have 2 commits, which includes that one there. So if that PR builds on AppVeyor, we might look to just merging that in and see where we go from there. But anyway, I need to go. So thank you everyone for coming. Thank you for the raid that we had early on in the stream. Hope this has been useful. But for now, I'm going to sign off. So talk to you all on Monday if I see you. So bye bye.